Well, none of them can hide from the truth, yeah. Children have to go back to the roots, yeah. None of them can hide from the truth, yeah. Children have to go back to the roots. I'm telling you now, the truth. Telling you, yeah, the truth. You have to go back to the roots. Go to the roots. Yeah, man, this is Benjamin out of the Smiling Coast, West Africa, Gambia, representing for the one and only Abu, the big man you don't know, the Soninke warrior, the man that brings the truth, Soninke warrior, the sign of enlightenment, the Soninke warrior, the righteous and the true African. Abu, reveal the truth to them, no matter how them try run from it, because none of them can hide from the truth, yeah. Yes, we have to dig back the roots, yeah. Fire!
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Afridamus Report. I'm your host, Afridamus. Sorry, ladies and gentlemen, for pushing the time a little bit further because I got caught up in traffic. I thought I could, rush to the grocery store, grab me some items and, for my cooking later. But obviously, I got caught up in that traffic. Everybody and their mama were out and about, they all had the same idea that I had. So, but I'm here. Ladies and gentlemen, today I'm going to talk about France, the nation of France. Because you see, we talk about, African colonization, neocolonialism. I've seen many people, take a stab at it. They try to, find out what is actually going on. Hey, St. James, welcome to the show. But I'm going to speak on France because, many African countries, as we, pretty much they would tell you no African country is colonized, right? And us in the English speaking sector of Africa, some of us are people would say, no, they just went through the back door and, we're still not free. But is that true? If you truly want to see, what nations, still have they are still under the yoke of their the people that quote unquote colonial, their former colonial masters, because that's what they call it, right? It seems like France, the nation of France, did a good job. I don't know how they are getting away with it, but when African nations were fighting, they are like, hey, we want to be free from this colonialism. The fight, the fight was much more. It seems like the English speaking sections are more radicalized. They are more like, hey, we want to be completely free. We just want to get rid of, the British. We don't want to be under the British. And yes, every now and again, they still have their puppets who they would infuse, put them in place. But these puppets, how effective are they in the English speaking sector? I'm not quite sure because things are based in economics. Because in these English speaking countries, if you notice in Africa, they don't have British troops there, they don't have foreign troops there. But from Senegal, which people would say, oh, Senegal is completely free. By the way, Senegal is not free. Senegal is still under France. I don't know if it's still the same, but when you go to Senegal, for instance, they have French troops there. You go to Mali, they have French troops there. Now they said, quote unquote, they're fighting terrorists in the Sahel region, which, these Sahel countries are Mauritania, Mali, Burkina Faso, Chad, Niger. So they said, we want to fight terrorism. Okay. By the way, France has over 2,000 troops in this region. They have permanent military bases in places like Mali, Niger. In that region, they have permanent military bases. But for some reason, the media, other people, they never talk about these things. The only thing that other people see is, oh, how America is invading Iraq and Afghanistan. By the way, all these invasions you hear is all, is quote unquote under the pretext of, oh, we want to free the people, but they are there to steal the resources of those countries. And France has been doing that for many, many, many years now. They've never left Africa. They've never left Africa. In fact, they are increasing their encroachment on territories that they've never even colonized. Like America just said, Guinea-Bissau, for instance. Guinea-Bissau uses the CFR franc. By the way, the CFR franc, if you look at all these, Francophone countries that use it, they are not the ones deciding. They don't have a central bank. You know, Guinea, Guinea removed themselves a long time ago from it, and France was so mad in the 60s when Sekou Touré was there. They ripped up, the railways, everything that they built, even the toilets, they ripped it up and took it. I'll tell you, amongst the European colonialists, France and Portugal, and even the Spanish, these groups of white Europeans, I don't know what is it with them, but if you look at it in Africa, they are the ones that are willing and still willing to go to war to try to keep those territories. So today we're going to I'm going to shed light on, for you guys to see for yourself that these Francophone speaking countries are not completely independent. They are not free. They are not free because you see, anyone that controls your currency and they can bring in troops into your country, that country is not your country. They believe that they own that country. But the people of Burkina Faso are rising up. They've been rising up against this tyranny that is taking place in their country. In fact, I have a footage here. This footage is only literally 7 hours old. So I'm talking about present day, 2021. Would any of you would have thought Africans would still be fighting openly against colonialists? Have you guys ever thought about that? But it is happening. All these other things we're talking about, France have always had their troops in this region. They said they are there to fight terrorists. It's no different than, you guys remember when Obama was in power, right? All of a sudden, out of the blue, some troops came out. They called themselves ISIS. And we all saw the footages where these people, they found somehow, coincidentally, they were just roaming in the desert, and they found, loaded trucks with weapons and ammunitions, brand new trucks. And they are like, hey, check this out. Why don't we become terrorists? That's what happened, right? But in this Sahel region, people, the Sahel region, the same thing is what is happening. So you have French troops there. These people, quote unquote, they are in the desert. How did they get these sophisticated weapons? How did they get the bombs to cause this mayhem and confusion in these countries? What is going on? You guys remember yesterday I talked about Mansa Musa being rich, right? Mansa Musa became rich from gold. And if you look at those regions, Burkina, Mali, Niger, those areas, back in those days, that's where Mansa Musa's wealth was coming from the gold. So do you want to tell me, okay, that's how nature works? All of a sudden, there was gold, minerals, and then now they disappeared? No, that is not what is going on. France is ripping off those countries. This is why they are willing. They are willing to go to war. They are sponsoring separatist groups. By the way, these are the foot soldiers of France, because you see, the colonialists, they have to change their tactics. Don't forget, this same France was the one willing to go to war in Algeria. I'm talking about full-blown war just to keep the country, just to keep it. You look at across there, they install their own puppets because you see, they have these Francophone leaders who believe that they are French. Their loyalty, their loyalty lies with France. Because you see, the Francophone is a completely different ball game. It's a completely different ball game. But it's so funny how, last 4 years they were telling us, oh, Donald Trump is racist, right? But somehow Donald Trump did not support France's moves in that region. And they were beginning to even lose power in the region. But ironically, all of a sudden now France have found new power, new strength to hold on to these territories. And Burkina, the people are standing up. The people are against their president, who, there's no confusion, I think his loyalty lies with France. He's like an employee of France. You go to Senegal, they have Macky Sall. Macky Sall is an employee of France. You go to Ivory Coast, Alassane Ouattara, because you see what France is doing, people, they are destabilizing these countries. So now the people in Burkina Faso, once the uprising has begun, different regions are beginning to rise up against this colonial mindset. At this point, people, this is not just a mere mindset. Let me be clear here. It is a full-blown war happening in this region. Even though they don't want to talk about it, everybody is just pretending. This is no different than what is happening in Afghanistan. It's no different than what happened in Iraq, in these regions. How, these warmongers, they flew in with their bombs, with their planes, bombing the place. People are getting bombed in Burkina Faso, in Mali. This is what is happening in these places. So I have some footages here today I'm going to share with you for you to see for yourself exactly what I'm talking about. Because this is bigger than, like some people only want to focus on saying, oh, France is collecting colonial tax. No, 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 ladies and gentlemen. They are collecting more than colonial tax. They believe they own these territories because they have their puppets in place. If those of us that are from the English speaking areas, I mean, let's be real. At least those leaders, you can tell their loyalty is not with England. They are very suspicious of England. They are so suspicious, they're not even allowing any troops to be stationed there. But France have installed their own employees in place in blackface. Like St. James said, Alassane Ouattara, the commander-in-chief of Francophone Africa, he is absolutely correct. Did you guys know that these Francophone countries, I don't know if they still do it, but they have representatives from their various quote-unquote colonies to be a representative for them. Like they would say, oh, you guys are French citizens too. You guys should come and serve as members of parliament, in the French government. So Alassane Ouattara, the current president of Burkina Faso, Macky Sall in Senegal, and several others. Mind you, these people were educated in France. Their loyalty, some of these people have even served in the French military. So who is their loyalty with? Because France have wisen up. You guys remember we talked about the slavery story here yesterday, and I told you the African hand in it. So France cannot control this place just by itself. France cannot do that. Because if the leaders they put in place are truly united with the will of the people, it will stop. But France cannot stop this. What they are doing is they are going to destabilize the place continuously, and then they are like, hey, we are just here as counter, we're here as counterterrorism team to try to stop these people. So now they're going to become the saviors of the place. But Mali kicked them out, and they brought in Russian missionaries, and France did not like that. So I don't want to keep you waiting. I'm going to show you this clip here from Burkina Faso. This is happening today as we speak. Today, it's only, like I said, the clip is only 7 hours old, and I'm about to show you here. Just kick back.
Thousands of people took to the streets in Ouahigouya, capital of the northern region of Burkina Faso, on Friday to protest against insecurity. The protest followed a call for a ghost town launched by the Save Yatenga movement in tribute to victims of terrorism. On Friday, schools, markets, and stores in the city were closed. Last week Sunday, at least 53 people, including 49 gendarmes, were killed in an attack by suspected jihadists in the region. What do they carry? What do they take with them every time that they leave for the Sahel? What we want today is that they are not going to pass. Even if we're going to spend 2 months here, we're set. We're not going to move. We don't want to negotiate. We're not asking for anything. What we're asking is just one thing: they can go home. This country is going badly. The country is going very, very bad. It's not even getting better. On the political side, it's not going well. On the opposition side, it's not going well either. We have to be clear and we have to be open with them. The attacks have become very permanent. It has to stop now. And it's been for too long. Since 2015, Burkina Faso has continued to face regular and deadly jihadist attacks, particularly in its northern and eastern regions.
So, ladies and gentlemen, that road blockade that you're seeing there, that's troop, French, mind you, French military. So now what they are doing is, that's a convoy moving from one part of the country. They're trying to go across to Niger. Something is brewing. It seems like they want to surround the country. So now the people, they are very smart to block this, because they said every time these people come through, somehow these jihadis, in quote unquote, they keep getting stronger. So coincidentally, France is there. They have 2,000 troops. They said, we are here to fight. We're here to fight and help you people. But somehow the jihadis keep getting more and more sophisticated. So you can put 2 and 2 together. They are supplying these people with weapons. Mali woke up to that reality. Mali is like, all right, we don't want France here. Then the president of France, Macron. So Macron gives this speech about they're going to remove troops. Ladies and gentlemen, have you ever truly believed like this is happening? You guys remember when they killed Gaddafi, right? Prior to that, this wasn't going on because Gaddafi controlled that area. So all this insurgency stuff wasn't happening. So Obama, France, Hillary Clinton, they had to come together to kill Gaddafi under the pretense that, oh, we are here to save the people. How are you going to save the people when these people, they are doing much better than he was providing so much for his own citizens. And like Njeme said here, Macky Sall is spreading his French wings on Gambia as well. You're right. Because when they have this new president over there in Gambia too, they brought him to France and they were talking about they're going to have French government train Gambian people. Do you guys know, in fact, Njeme, thanks for reminding me. In Gambia itself, they have Francophone military troops. They are not white French, but they are Senegalese troops currently occupying Gambia. Who do you think is keeping those people there? Because they are trying to pull Gambia also under the thumb of France. But I'm not worried about that because I know the Gambian people will never go for that. They would rather, blow up the entire country than agree to this. That would be very hard. And it's getting harder because the people want those troops out. But I'm about to play Macron's speech talking about he's going to remove their troops out of the Sahel region around Mali. I want you guys to hear how Macron is over here pretending. He's pretending that they are here to help these people, but these people don't want to work with them. Who else does this? You guys remember America? America does the same thing. They fly to these places, Afghanistan, Iraq. They say, we're here to free those people. But why are they spending billions in military support? They're not doing that for free. In that Sahel region, those countries, Mali, Burkina Faso, Niger has uranium. Burkina Faso has tons and tons of gold. Mali has lots of gold. Mauritania, those areas, they have lots of gold. So France, obviously, they're not going to spend billions, in installing permanent military bases there just for the hell of it. Like, why are they there? They're extracting the resources. So now it's not only that they have the people completely controlled financially, meaning they can't even have their own, mind you, the African countries that use the CFA, guess where the CFA is printed? In France. France controls it. But does France itself use that currency? France do not use that currency. They print these currencies for these African countries. So that's colonialism 2.0. They control the central banks of these countries. But now they have troops there. And this is it's not a new thing. This has been going on for almost 10 years now, that they had actual permanent troops. But like I'm telling you guys, I have visited Senegal before. At the airport, I've seen, French military men there. And that is like what? Over 20 years ago. So this has been going on forever. Okay? But I'm about to play Macron's speech. He's going to act like the savior because the Malian people are like, no, you know what? Dude, it's okay. We want you out. When they had that military coup, which, by the way, I gave analysis on it and I predicted Guinea, also going through the same thing. Watch what this weasel is about to say and tell me if you guys believe him.
Affairs editor Armin George. And Armin, why this decision and why now?
Yeah, this is quite a big change, Delano. I mean, it does mean the withdrawal of French troops from the Sahel, a region where they've been active for the last 8 years. It's not a complete pullout. It's going to be gradual, of course. We still don't have.
Did you guys hear that? It's just going to be a gradual pullout. Okay, so France have colonized these countries since what? Back in when they decided in 1884, around that time, saying now, the partition of Africa. This is why when I speak of things that happened way back, people think this is like, oh, let's move on. No, this is a continuation. It never stopped. These wars, for example, in Congo that you guys are seeing, do you guys think this just happened out of the blue? Ever since Belgium, King Leopold, came and stepped foot into the Congo, okay, that war, the atrocities they've been emitting on the Africans there, in the Congolese, enslaving them, it never ended. Because in the 60s, remember, Lumumba stood up to them. And they knew Lumumba wanted to head in a different direction. They killed Lumumba. And Mobutu Sese Seko was part of that. He became the president. The war never stopped. At one point, Congo was, 3 different countries. They had a region called Kitanga. So imagine that it was a separatist area. That war have been going on. And then it continued. And then Laurent Kabila comes in and remove Mobutu. Mind you, it's continuous. This war there have been going on now close to 200 years. So this is why I like to give you the genesis of all these things. It never ended. So mind you, France never left. I'm not talking about like us in the English sector just saying, oh, they controlling people mentally. No, physically, they never left. Physically, they never left. They're still there. So they should be able, with no problem, right? They should be able, with no problem, to remove their troops. But they're saying, oh no, we're gradually doing it. As if you own the place. Look, if you're in an apartment, you don't pay, they give you the, when the judge gives the landlord, the eviction notice, they give you the eviction notice. Do you say, oh, I'm just going to gradually leave? No. The only way you put conditions on them is like if you own the place. The way France is acting right now is like, people, like you try to break up with a terrible girlfriend, and she starts saying, oh, if you leave me, you would never be happy. You would never find anyone like you. Like, hey, I'm okay. I want to break up. But she doesn't want to break up. France is like that nagging, human gnat girlfriend who would, you want to break up with her, but she doesn't want the breakup to happen. And she would even threaten you and say, I'm going to put gas in your tank. I'm going to slash your tire. I'm going to do any kind of thing. That's what is going on here. I'll let this play. You guys hear France's stupid logic.
The exact calendar, but why? Because Macron, I think what's really precipitated this is discontent with the Malian authorities on 2 levels. One is on the political, the lack of progress towards a civilian government and elections. The other is frustration with how the Malian military has approached these anti-jihadist operations. One thing that Macron kept saying in this press conference, and you could feel his frustration, by the way. I was sitting in that audience, and he kept coming back to this point. France cannot substitute, it cannot take the place of state.
Like, this is why the Afridamus report is here, because this bald-headed liar, they like to give credence to this, to give the European imperialists the moral high ground, as if they are doing favors for the Africans. Oh, Macron is frustrated, this and that. You see how he's analyzing this? Oh, Macron is frustrated. It's not his country. Why the people say leave? Why does he need to give a frustrated, talking point? Oh, these other countries have to do their part. No, Macron, they want you out because they know you are sponsoring those jihadists. They know you're doing that. Africans today are not stupid. They know, like, first of all, these jihadists, there's no way they will be able to get these weapons without you. But you're there, you supply them, and then you come back and act like you are the answer to the Africans. Africans, we need to wake up and be more hip to this game. This is how it's been done today. Not like, before, how they come to the chiefs and say, put an X here. They write all these documents. You put an X, you didn't know, you just gave up your entire territory. Now they know, okay, these people can read. They know this stuff. You know what we're going to do? We're just going to create chaos for them. And then we would come as their saviors. Military 101. That's the tactic he's using here. This is how these Western liberals, this is how they operate. And by the way, you notice when people say, oh, you got to go vote for the American Democratic Party. Mind you, when you vote for those people, know that you're voting for the suffering of Africans in Africa, because these people are imperialists. This is what they support. So when they come out and try to make you feel like, use sentiments talking about racism, they are the real racists, if that even exists. They are the real haters. Because ironically, for 4 years, when Trump was there, Macron's power over there was going down. But right now, Joe Biden is there. Guess what? Macron's power is being reinforced. Go figure. Who's supporting him? Who's supporting him? You have to ask yourself that question. These people are all in cahoots with each other. Okay? So Africans, you got to wake up and smell the coffee. Those the puppets they have in place, they got to go. They got to go. If you ever want to see peace there, because you look at it in Africa, they have even these organizations, the OAU. What a joke. They have ECOWAS. Don't you find it weird why is, for example, you have like the nation of Israel. It's a different topic, but it's within Israel. They're quote unquote observer state on African affairs. Why do they need to have observer status there? Do you guys understand? The colonialism is happening through they're presenting blackface people to you. Look, I have a friend, right? I hope he watches this. He works for those organizations. So those people, like, I would try to have conversation with him, but this guy acts weird. He don't want to talk. But the same guy, I see him because he works for the United Nations, sometimes the OAU. I see him. He's stationed in New York. I see him with a sign saying, he has so much to say about America's racism. But now, when we want to talk about African issues, how the AU and the Gambia government and these people, this guy acts weird. He don't want to talk to me. So I already know what team he belongs to. I know that he is in the corrupt camp. These people want to put us to sleep and continue eating. I know they work for the puppet master. I know this guy very, very well. But what is it about that he don't even want to share this with me? Because he knows my stance and my opinion. But we are the enemies, by the way, okay? We the people, we are the enemies, the people that point these things out. If you look at ECOWAS, this is why when people talk about the unity of Africa, it would never happen, people. It will never happen. You look at ECOWAS is completely mute about what France is doing. France is the one giving them, dictating the agenda to them. In fact, did you guys know ECOWAS and the African Union are putting sanctions on a couple of these countries because of what France is telling ECOWAS to do? So even your ECOWAS, your AU, it's just a name, it's a front. It doesn't belong to Africans. You guys don't know this. It doesn't belong to Africans. All these guys work for the imperialists. But let's allow Macron to tell us his bullshit. And this bald-headed liar here, don't mind him. He's going to try to give France the high moral ground, but they don't have the moral ground, to do what they are doing in these countries. because it doesn't belong to them. They have no rights there.
In the region. So what he was trying to get across was when France flushes jihadists out of a particular area or zone, the next thing that needs to happen is that Mali or Burkina Faso or Niger, that their militaries come in and secure that area, and then the states also step in to provide long-term.
You see what he's saying here? You see what he's saying? This doesn't make sense. Visionary of love. Didn't ECOWAS help keep Gambia safe while getting rid of Jammeh? I wouldn't call it they saved the place. I wouldn't call it that. Don't you see they still have that ECOWAS? They have the troops there, Okimek. You think Gambian people want those people there? They completely stripped the Gambian military of their powers. Yes, but now they still continue to have foreign troops. What? For how long do they need to be there? How long? But now, ironically, all of a sudden, they found gas, oil in the Gambian shores. Now, all of a sudden, they have these troops and they want to make it a permanent thing in the Gambia. What does a French-speaking country have to do with an English-speaking one? Yeah, I mean, ECOMOG, they're not doing this on their own. In fact, you know who's paying the salary of those soldiers that are occupying Gambia? The EU, I would say France through EU. Who do you think they are working for? They're not there to save the Gambian people. In fact, they are over there killing Gambian people. Look up how many Gambians these people have killed so far. They've killed several Gambians already as we speak. So they are not helping. They are not helping. They are an occupying force serving the following instructions from their masters. And they have their puppets in place. And when you go against these puppets, guess what? You are the enemy. You are the enemy. And Amilcar, you're absolutely right. Guinea-Bissau lost control Portuguese lost control in Guinea-Bissau, and now the French took over. People, those of you that thought, colonialism ended in these places, no, it hasn't. It just took a completely different form. This is why when the people stand up, they are not afraid to use force. You see, the only time somebody uses force against someone is because you gave yourself the moral high ground that you have the right to use force on this person. Isn't that what the United States tell themselves when they attack these places? And even if they defend themselves, they are called terrorists. Imagine somebody attacking you and you're defending yourself, you're called a terrorist. You are the aggressor. I'm defending myself against you. That's what is happening here.
Development, and he feels that is not happening, and after 8 years it's time to start a gradual withdrawal.
And what will this change on the ground once it happens?
Again, Delano, we don't know for sure. I mean, the French defense, the Minister for the Armed Forces spoke on French radio this morning, and she didn't give exact troop numbers, how fast they will go down. There was one report yesterday which talked about perhaps half of the current French troops, which is just over 5,000. So that would be something like 2,500 in 2023, but we'll have to see. In any case, clearly this does have implications for French bases in the Sahel, if we can take a look now at a map to show you that. So there you're seeing the G5 Sahel countries, Chad, Niger.
Okay. You guys see, right? They are showing us all these flags you see. These flags here. This is the French flag. This is showing you, where France has troops in. Like, you guys thought it was the United States that have troops everywhere, right? They have troops everywhere. Apparently, they probably moved their troops from Algeria here, because you guys know the Algerians went wild on them, a few years back. They had to use terrorist tactics, planting bombs in French installations. So now they move further south here. But this is all they're showing us, the places that France has troops in. So colonialism is alive and well in these places.
Mali, Burkina Faso, and Mauritania. The tricolor flags are the permanent French bases, and the slightly rounder tricolors are temporary bases. So Mali, as you can see, has quite a few French bases, both permanent and temporary. Mali so far, I mean, historically in Operation Barkhane has been a really key linchpin of this French-led effort. So it's going to be a big shake-up. We don't know exactly how it will pan out, whether some of those French bases in Mali will be moved to neighboring countries, for example, to Chad or Niger, where, France has better political relationships than with the Mali.
You guys, if you notice, all these countries that France have the troops, they have foothold, there's no stability there, no peace. Why is that? Just ask yourself that question. Who is supplying the weapons?
Government, or whether they will simply close down bases eventually in Mali. All this, I think, still to be articulated. We should have more details between now and the end of the month, when the French government is meant to give us an actual calendar for this troop drawdown.
So they're talking about they want to draw down the troops. But you know what? Let me drop the link here and invite St. James. St. James is from Burkina. He can give us a real analysis and what the people are saying. St. James, I just dropped the link for you. Please hit that link and join me so we can have, discussion on this, because we can't talk about, an area and not bring someone who is actually from there and have a total understanding of the place. But this is what is happening there, people. All this instability you're seeing in these places, that's because France has its foot on the people's neck. We have St. James in the house, ladies and gentlemen. Give me a second. St. James, welcome to the show.
Yes, my brother. Thank you for having me today, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah. So, St. James, you're aware of the instability that the uprising of the people in your country right now.
Yes, I am. I'm in conversation with my people back home, and right now I can say that the people are not happy, man. They're not happy about what's going on in the country, and they want answers. And
St. James, can you give us a rundown? Because I'm sure you've heard what I've said so far, but the floor is yours. Give us a rundown. What do you think France is helping in Burkina, Mali, and in these places? Like what is going on with the fight against the jihadis?
as you perfectly said it, right? You can see the result for yourself. If you are in this kind of situation, you can assess it in both ways. Like, are we winning? Are these terrorists leaving this area, going back to where they come from? No. I can speak for my country. Since I believe the first terrorist attack in Burkina happened in 2015.
Okay, where did these terrorists even, where are they coming from?
Okay, it's now official, but based on what I've heard, most of them are coming from that area. All this Niger and Chad area that was next to how you call Libya.
Libya.
Yes, this is where they're coming from. So the French military, they know where these people come from. They know what kind of equipment they have. So basically, at first we thought they were providing intels, because in my country we didn't even want them to engage the terrorists. Our army were doing that. You know, but since
So you guys' national army was already
yes,
fighting this situation. So
right.
the terrorists, the terrorists that are coming, because it sounds like it's a separatist group, right? So they obviously, because when people are fighting, they have something they fight for. What? Because if these people are not from Burkina, they are not from these countries. What are they fighting for?
That's a great question because you remember back in 2014 we got rid of Blaise Compaoré, right?
Right.
So basically, when the new guy came in power, and the first terrorist attack took place in 20, I believe it took power in 20. Blaise Compaoré got rid of in 2014, and we had an election a year after that. That was 2015, and the new president took power, and the first terrorist attack happened. So though I'm just trying to say this, we were safe. We had no problem with terrorists since after the demise of Blaise Compaoré.
Right.
So which is very suspect for us, right? So this guy left, the new president comes in, we get the first terrorist attack. So no one knows where these people come from. So it took a while for us to understand what was happening. And the president was like, he tried to have a conversation with those people. He said, you know what, I don't know what you guys want, but we can have a conversation. So I did believe they had a conversation and they demanded things from the Burkina government that Blaise Compaoré was giving them. And they want that to continue.
So is this so at this time, because I know Mali was also a hotbed. So this is the same group of people,
Same group, same cousins, same people, because they used to come back. When they go back in the day, they used to go attack Mali and come back around Burkina when Blaise Compaoré was in power. So basically, Blaise Compaoré was giving them shelter. You see what I'm saying? So when the new guy came in, it was like, you know what? Everything that you guys are asking me for, the old guy did it. I'm not doing it. So you guys we can fight or you guys can go. So since then, you can see the result, right?
Right. They just keep getting stronger. St. James, have you ever thought about possibly like, okay, where are these people getting the weapons? Who's sponsoring them? Because they have 2,000 French troops there who claim, Macron claims they are there to help. So do you think they are supplying these people with these weapons, or they are there to stop them?
As you can see right now in Burkina, the last 48 hours has been tough for the US, for the French army, because the people now believe that they are the ones supplying the weapons. They're the ones supplying the intel to the terrorists. You see what I'm saying? So people are asking those questions, and we're not getting any answer. You and I know the country French is a superpower, whether we like it or not.
Right.
It's a superpower. So who wouldn't want the French to come fight with you? And this is not even a deterrent for these terrorists. Something's wrong here. Something is wrong because they're not even a deterrent. For the last 5 years, we had the French army in Burkina, Niger, Chad, Mauritania, Mali, and it's getting worse. How long did it take for them to get rid of Gaddafi?
Like months.
Okay. For us, it takes years. So people are wondering, are you really a superpower? If you are, because you are being put to test, and it's not, we are not showing the results. And people are telling them now, it's about time that you guys go and let us decide for ourselves. If we're going to die here,
so you guys, you guys are pretty much want to do the Malian route. So what did France say when Mali wanted them gone and they want the Russians to come in?
Basically, you are a sovereign country. You get to pick whoever you want to come help you in those kind of situations. But when you look at the situation in Mali, right, the Malian began to understand that they need more partners, right, in this fight, alongside the French army. I don't know what kind of situation they have in there, but they chose to go the Russian route. And the French are trying to label the Russian as a rebellion group. You know, like, you know, the French, the Malians are like, you guys have used those kind of similar tactics in other areas in the world. You know, so why can't we use the same people, the same tactic in order to fight those terrorists? And the French is like, okay, we are your best solution to win this war. And the Malian don't seems to be agreeing with it. And rightfully so, because
But doesn't that should wake people up to, if France is confident enough and comfortable? I mean, because if Mali is a sovereign nation, right? Why, if France doesn't have any hold over them or think they really own the territory, why do they feel the need that they have the power to dictate to the Malian government who they can or cannot invite to come and help them fight?
that's that. If you remember the meeting that the French president had with the youth from Africa, the question was asked to him. You know, the old tactics have to stop, right?
Right.
We are a sovereign nation. We can speak for ourselves. We can decide on our own. But as you can see, the same tactics remains. You know, when they don't agree with you, they will go behind your back and they will say, we are your best bet, and we will tell you exactly what you need to be doing. So is that situation like not sustainable for people in that country? If you don't have no power, like the people in Mali and Burkina Faso, let's say, we know. Honestly, I'm here in America, right? But I speak to my people back home. I know we can fight these terrorists. They told me that every day. We can fight these terrorists. We can win this war. You know, but no one's know. At least between these countries, Nigeria, Chad, Mauritania, Mali, right? They should have been winning somewhere for us to even believe this partnership is working. Show me one fight in the Sahel region where they're winning. They're not winning.
Yeah. What is ECOWAS? ECOWAS helping in any way?
I spoke to my uncle today, like I told you. I spoke to someone in, you know,
yeah,
like someone said in the chat, right?
Yeah.
You have to protect yourself, man. Your neighbors, the people that you feel like are united with you, they're not coming. That's why you and I, we speak about this unity thing, and people seems not to understand.
Right.
We're not united. We are not united. P is fake. You know, but when you speak like that, people feel like, okay, you know, other country need to come and help you. I'm like, no, you don't have to come help me. But I feel like, you know what? If I'm being attacked and my neighbors are saying nothing, it tells me a lot about our unity, right?
Right.
It tells you a lot.
And on top of that, ECOWAS, and they put a sanction on Mali.
That's the part I don't understand. Yesterday you did a show about slavery, right?
Right.
And you talk about the people that participated in that, who enabled all these people to come inside those countries and grab people, right?
Right.
That's the same thing you see with the ECOWAS and the African Union. So when a country rise up and the president stand up, they will send your own people to tell you, if you don't do what we want, we're going to put sanctions in you. And the irony is when they talk about we're going to freeze your assets, like what do these people even own for you to freeze them? They don't have anything. So it's the same tactic. You know, your own people will come to your country and will tell you, oh, guys, you need to give power to a civilian. Why? Why so soon? Why so soon?
Right.
If the people within the country want to have a conversation amongst themselves and decide what is right for them, why are you rushing them to choose a civilian? What's the difference between a civilian and a military? If they can run the country for a minute until they find us what is best for them. Don't rush them. Don't put sanctions on them. Let them decide on their own. You know, that's facts. It's like, that's like you try to put a civilian. Who is that civilian? Somebody who's going to be picked from Europe?
And they get, they seem to, you know, these civilians they talk about, they, even though they're Africans, but they seem to be people picked from Europe
From
who
Europe.
have been working, coincidentally for some of these big French corporations.
When they're doing that,
That's strange.
when they're putting the sanctions on you, they already have a name for you. They will come with the name. They will tell you, okay, if you put this guy in power, we will lift the sanctions. If you decide to discuss with this group of people, we will stay away. You see what I'm saying? They already have somebody for you. Trust and believe. They're not gonna give that position to somebody who's more pragmatic, who is against the West. It's not gonna happen.
So do you think you want to speak on this convoy that the people are blocking? The convoy that is the French military making their way to Niger. Do you think this is another military strategy for them to completely surround Burkina, or the people are more worried about the weapons that they are distributing?
Based on what I heard, the Malians already have an agreement with the Russians. I don't know how far they are with the situation, but one of my people told me that now they're leaving the Mali area and they are making their way to Burkina Faso, trying to get to Niger. So in doing so, they are talking to certain people and they are providing weapons to certain people on their way to Niger. Yes. Because of the route they chose.
So does the military in Burkina, are they given the powers to check the French to see what they have with them, or they just allow them to drive through the country? Like the civilians have to step up and take this into their own hands.
Guess what? When I was home a few months ago, the French army don't even include, like if they are in your country, they don't even include your soldier in certain missions. It's like working together, but when it comes time to go have lunch, everybody go their separate way. So that's what the French military is doing. So basically, they are in talk, they are in conversation with some of the terrorist group that our commanders in chief don't know. So the mission is not, they're not doing it together.
So Macron made several statements, right? He said that France is the last line of defense for Burkina and Mali. What do you make of that statement?
I'm from Burkina Faso and they can go to hell. They can go to hell. You see what I'm saying? I've been saying that for the longest. We don't need saviors. You see what I'm saying? We can do. It's like that's like you said. They are winning, not winning, but when you can't get your way, you go to the medias and you talk about a country, you talk about its people, and you tell them that they need you. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's what they're doing. So if we needed you, we've been through this for what? Since 2015, like I told you, is what, 6 years?
Yeah.
6 years, and we're not winning, and you still telling me we need you?
So what role is? Niger, right? Niger have uranium, as we all know. What role is Niger playing? Are they supporting Burkina, or they are a French ally?
Okay, we are a group in when you talk about the Sahel region, we are all together. Like I said, as African, we are all together, but every country has their own interests with the French, right?
Right.
So for me to sit here and tell you exactly what interest they have by keeping the French army in the country, I don't know.
Yeah.
But we all know they have the uranium that the French want, or they already,
have control over.
Right, they have control over that. But when it comes to the gold in Burkina, I believe the gold is not controlled by the French. No. It's controlled by, whether I don't like it, but it's not controlled by the French.
So the president of Burkina, right? He obviously, the agenda he's pushing is not in line with the people. What is his, like, where do the people stand, as far as, him continuing being the president? Like, what's the majority saying?
The majority is saying that we've been through it for 6 years, and we haven't gotten the results we want with French fighting with us, and it's getting worse. And the people are like, okay, you know what? I believe it would be better for us to fight our own battles and let the French go whether they want to stay or they want to. For me, the people are saying that they don't want them to stay.
Yeah, I saw those videos. The people definitely, they no longer trust the French.
They don't like.
I mean, I think the Burkina Faso, it seems like the people, the youths, have not trusted France for quite some time, because I remember when Macron went to Burkina, like I think 2 years ago or so, he wasn't well received. He wasn't well received in the country. But it seems like the president there, he's there to serve the French interest. And don't you think you guys, like, that would look like you guys have an enemy in the state house there, where they're pretty much giving the logistics and where to bomb and where to attack? Because if they have 2,000 French troops there, what are they doing? Are they even fighting?
If you look at the video that you posted,
Right.
In this area, this is where the fight, like this is one of the area the fight is taking place, right? This is where the people are being slaughtered. And you telling me that when the French president said that, we are where everything is taking place. We are fighting, we are helping. And the people are like, you ain't even helping. You're trying to pass through. That's why the people block them. You see, like, if you are fighting, why are you leaving?
But what do you think is behind their relocation to Niger? Because if they move there, because if you look through the map, if they move south, they would literally surround Burkina at that point.
Because why the youth, why we are rising right now, like you said, yeah, they are surrounding the country, because back in the day it used to be the north.
Yeah,
it used to be the north. Now people are talking about that we are being surrounded, which is very scary. So you lost the north. Basically, technically, you lost the north. Now you are surrounding the country, like the situation in Mali. That's why the people are like, this is not acceptable. It's not acceptable. You should stay where you are if you really are, if you want to fight. But obviously, you can see through that video that no, it's not the case. These people are going to Niger. They are going to Niger. So I'm happy if, like, by tomorrow, if they leave Burkina, I would hope they don't come back. You see what I'm saying? So we can determine our own destiny.
But do you think, do you foresee that? Because are you worried that, like the way the tensions is going, and obviously there's people calling for the president to be replaced.
At this time, the president has to make a decision, whether he's with us or he's with French. Africa, those countries, right? The people already made it clear to them. You are either with us or you are with the president. And I can guarantee you, if another Burkina Faso is attacked, if something happened, this dude is gonna go. Is gonna go.
So don't you think if the chaos that they are creating, right? Because this is how I'm picturing it. France want to create more chaos, and then they would send their puppets, people like Macky Sall or Ouattara, and say we're here to to talk peace, to save the people.
They're on the way. Like I know this is not related to the topic, but they're on the way. Remember back in 2014 when we surrounded our president, the previous president, we surrounded the previous president. We send a plane for him to leave. The
Probably.
French has to call the Ivorian to send a plane. So Alassane Ouattara sent the plane, and he took off in his whole family. They got to Ivory Coast. Next, what happened? When we try to get him back to Burkina Faso, now this dude is Ivorian.
They
Because
changed his citizenship, so that means you guys cannot extract. That's wait a minute. So this guy was president for what, 30 years almost?
27.
27. So when you guys wanted to bring him back to, try him in court, for the killing of Thomas Sankara, now all of a sudden he's no longer a citizen of Burkina Faso. He's a citizen of Ivory Coast.
He's no longer a citizen of Burkina Faso. He got his nationality through marriage from his wife. And he's Ivorian. He live in Ivory Coast. The French see through this. The Ivorians see through this. The president see through that. No one talk about it. The ECOWAS, African Union, they all see that. They all see the joke. They see the joke. No one's talk about it. As we speak, right? The trial of Sankara is ongoing right now.
Yeah.
You see? And he's relaxing. He got his court paper to come back to Burkina. He refused to come, citing that his life is in danger. He doesn't want to come back. And even Interpol cannot get him back because he's Ivorian.
Wow.
Who is facilitating that for him? Alassane Ouattara,
who's a French agent.
Taking order from the French president. Everything that guy did in Africa. You can talk about Sierra Leone, Liberia, Angola. Who is there to mention but him?
Yeah, he's behind all that because Charles
So
Taylor used to reside there. Charles Taylor said he was best friends with him.
Our military fought in Liberia. All the Liberian knows about it. It's not a secret. He knows. They all know. All the Liberians that I met here in the United States, they told me that. I said, I knew because I lived there. I saw it. Even the uprising in Ivory Coast, all the military, the rebellion group, they got trained in Burkina Faso in 2001, and they went to Ivory Coast. They took power. Ivorian cannot deny that. They know it better than I do. You see what I'm saying? That guy is a devil. But what can we do? He stayed in power for a very long time, for 27 years. He got used to, to ruin other country, which he did. For what? For money? For wealth?
Do you think he is behind even like this? Because these jihadis, they've been around there, right? But they've never attacked Burkina. But now all of a sudden he's not there. And, for some reason, he's next to a French agent, which we all know.
That's the $1 million question.
He's next to a French agent. And now these jihadis, quote unquote, they're getting stronger and stronger, even with the presence of France being there.
Even when the former president, I remember months ago, people asked him why you don't extend the olive branch to him so he can come back home and help out. And the president was like, did you ever see him speak about the situation in Burkina Faso? He don't speak. He doesn't speak. He still have family members in Burkina. He doesn't speak about it because he knows everything. I don't know why, but that's the sad reality. He doesn't speak about it. That's your country.
Does Burkina have any cooperation with places like Chad and Niger, or the French are the one that is facilitating all that?
I believe the French are the one that are doing it, because when that happened, they put us together. I don't know if they put us together because of the threat, the same threat that we have. I don't know, but I feel like this force is not producing any results, But I believe
someone is asking how strong is the Burkina military? I mean, as far as I know, in the 80s, 90s, they were pretty strong. So
I can guarantee you We can't be defeated by these people. It's been going on for what, 6 years?
Yeah.
They can't even make it to the capital. So it's like they try. I'm not denying that, you know, things can happen, but I'm just telling you, based on the things that I'm hearing, they can't. They can't. If they can't, they will. You see what I'm saying? So they need like for 6 years after Damas, how did you get your munitions? You've been shooting for 6 years?
That's the
How do you-
question. Yeah, that's the, you know, that's the $1 million question. Obviously, you know, like you said, France, you know, because France is even gearing up. They're talking about they're gonna go fight in help Ukraine fight Russia whatsoever, right? They want to go against a superpower like Russia, but they've been based in this region, but somehow they cannot, you know, stop what is happening. So what I'm saying is France is creating the chaos, and the resources, the gold mines, the uraniums, they continue to have control over it, because these countries, they're not going to spend billions maintaining military strength in a region that is not their country if they are not making 10 times that amount. Because Macron, you know, Africans, like I've seen videos where Burkina students, young people, told him to his face that France is not needed there. They need to leave. I've heard several Africans say to his face that they need to go. But somehow France, you know, they don't want to leave.
Obviously, it's like for me, it's like this, right? Like you're right, because the last time he came to Burkina, you know, he went to the university in the capital. Then they didn't show all the footage they had when he landed at the airport, and they took him from the airport to the president palace. They didn't show that. I wanted to show that to all the Pan Africans, all these people that talk about everything but nothing.
Right.
People didn't receive him well. People were like, you know what, man, get the heck. But they don't show that. He said, the people told him, like, you know what, if it was up to us, you wouldn't even be here. But this guy get back to his country and he make video talking about, your president told me that the relationship is good. So you have to see the two. If you go to a place where you can see that for yourself, right? You don't need someone to come tell you, oh man, hey, I can extend my welcome over here. You can see if the people love you or not.
Right.
If the people don't love you, regardless of the fact that the president come and tell you, hey man, guy, we need you. You can make that decision on your own based on what you have seen.
So I noticed I mean, I know somebody's asking, is France responsible for, are they training the military of Burkina? For some reason, I don't know if I've seen a lot of French influence in the Burkina, you know, military, but if I'm wrong, correct me. I mean, because I know Senegal for sure. The Senegalese, I mean, like Senegalese, man, they really, I mean, not even just their higher ups, even most of their ordinary citizens, they truly believe that they are French citizens. Like these people, like they think France is the same country. Their loyalty doesn't seem to lie with other Africans. Their loyalty lies with France. So Burkina, is the military, are they being trained by France, or they do their own thing?
I don't, like I said, they don't seem to be. I mean, I haven't seen any training taking place there, and I'm not sure. I can guarantee. But like I said, whether they train Burkinabes or they don't train the Burkinabes army, I know for facts that we can handle our own. So I don't know how much of a training do we need to fight these people. I don't know, because they're not like a threat to us like that.
Right.
They're not. But like you said, also, I want to put it there because I don't care. I go there when I need to go there, right?
Right.
For all my Pan Africanists who are listening, when it comes to the Francophone Africa, the two countries that you need to be worried about: Ivory Coast and Senegal.
Right. Yes. You're absolutely, yeah. Those two countries. I mean, like, especially when people talk about the unity of Africa. I mean, those two countries are a problem for, they are literally the country of spies for France. Let's just keep it real.
You're absolutely right. Like in the next, I know, maybe you already did it. You already made phone calls. Burkina, these countries in the Sahel region, we are landlocked,
And
right?
I was gonna ask, someone, Daniel M. What about Chad? Chad also, I'm not sure about Chad. They don't really. They don't seem like they support anything that is African for some reason. I'm not sure. It's like their loyalty is either with the Arab world or France.
Somebody in the chat said that if the French leave West Africa, we will be at war with each other. Yeah. I don't know what kind of information is reading. If that was the case, we would have fought each other for a long time.
Right.
We never did. So that's not
because Burkina, you guys were pretty peaceful, stable. Like Thomas Sankara, when he came, he pretty much, you guys didn't suffer the neocolonialism. You guys, even when West Africa went up in flames, like Sierra Leone was hot, Liberia was hot, even though Burkina was a hub for the warlords that made those places hot, but you guys kept it pretty peaceful.
Absolutely. Hey, if you remember, we used to be called Upper Volta, right?
Yeah.
To detach the country for the colonial master. What did Sankara did? We changed the name of the country. We are one of the even though we stand by ourselves, like in the Francophone countries, we changed the name when the colonial master left. We did.
Yeah.
A few countries did, but I don't know who did right now. But Sankara did. He said we are leaving. We don't want to call ourselves Upper Volta. We are Burkina Faso. This triggered them. He was removing our country from the colonial masters step by step. And the last front he was on was to remove the country from the CFA. Because we wanted to create our own currency, and we wanted to, because in order to do so, you have to have the backing of all these countries that use the same currency. And he was like, let's remove ourselves in block together. And if each country want to create their own, or we want to still stay united, let's do it. Guess who plotted against him? You can watch the meeting they have at the African Union level in July of '87. That dude stood there and told them, if I'm by myself in this, the next meeting I'm not coming back. They made sure he doesn't come back. July of '87 to October of '87. You know what happened?
Yeah.
How many months?
Yeah.
He got taken. They took care of him. Taken out.
Yeah.
Because that was the last front he was fighting. The economy, our resources. Take ownership of everything that we own from these people. But the Pan-Africanists left him, fought that battle by himself.
Yeah, that's a good point you're bringing, because he was very open about preaching, like not just preaching it, he lived the Pan-Africanist lifestyle. That's why when we talk about unite on what, we want to know exactly, because we've seen the Pan-Africanists like Thomas Sankara, the Pan-Africanists left him by himself he literally got killed. They didn't support
They
him.
hung him dry. They hung him dry.
Yeah, they hung him
Very
dry.
dry. Yeah.
And I want to
Basically,
answer. Amilcar's question. He said, "Afridamus, Gambia is in Senegal and Guinea-Bissau." Yeah, right. That's true. Gambia is literally, would be a country in Senegal, but as far as official dealings, we're completely, different countries. In fact, Senegal, we've been having issues with them where, their ships, their boats come in, they steal from, Gambia, they're stealing fish from, our Gambian waters. It's not only like we talk about Chinese, but Senegal steals a lot from Gambia as well. But there are territories that belong to Senegal, like in Casamance. We also benefit from getting the red mahogany, which is very expensive wood in China. So Gambians also benefit from it. So it's vice versa. I don't know I'm not quite sure, like, in that region, if anyone can really truly enforce, the lines that were drawn. It will be very difficult to do that. But hey, they benefit from the Gambian fish. We benefit from, the wood, the timber, the wood in the Casamas forest, because we can easily just travel into it. So I mean, it evens out at some point. But if you look at Senegal, like I was telling you earlier, right? This would blow your mind, but I believe if France needs to even invade Burkina, for example, I think Senegal or Ivory Coast, they wouldn't have any problem providing troops for that to happen. Because, France has, like, I checked out the pictures, right? They have some African troops that are working with them. You're aware of this, right?
yes, I'm very aware. But like you said, right, invading would be even they can do it. They can do it easily, like by stopping our import and export, because we are landlocked. All they need to do is to give a phone call to another francophone country who is on their side, like Ivory Coast, maybe Togo. We would tell them, you know what, stop the goods from coming and leaving the country. Guess what? Our economy will go down. That's the tactics.
Wow.
When they do that, then when everybody is starving in that country, now they can bring whatever they want. That's the way they do things.
Well, this is what I try to explain. Like when I ask the question about the unity, people don't understand what I'm trying to get at. Because I want to know. Because I don't ask questions that I don't know the answers to. So that's why I want to understand what the individual knows. Because when I ask about the unity, what they say is they go with emotion. They don't realize today in Africa, African countries, to imagine, for example, let's say Zimbabwe, right? People like to give Zimbabwe as an example, how there's 54 countries in Africa. How can Western powers sanction Zimbabwe and destroy Zimbabwe's economy? How is that possible? Obviously, the African countries were the ones enforcing this sanction on Zimbabwe. Mali, look at Mali. It's an African country. ECOWAS put a sanction on them. Guinea-Conakry. Obviously, who is dictating these sanctions, on these people? That's my question,
Even when you look at the situation in North Korea, right? The U.S. always puts sanction on that country, but who
Right.
is enabling them? China.
China, yeah.
China. So that's what I told my African folks, right? You guys are still, I don't know. It's like, I don't know. We need to reprogram ourselves, right, to those things. It's like when I see what's going on in Mali, I'm like, you guys still don't understand. You can't even allow them to talk about sanctions on the African country, on the African continent.
But it is the Africans. Like I said, I gave an example of a friend that I know. He worked for the AU. Now he works for the United Nations. This guy, he wants to be vocal and even post things on social media talking about quote unquote America's racism. But this guy, when I want to discuss the corruption in Gambia, because he was appointed by the Gambia government, he wants nothing to do with it. When I want to talk about the UN, ECOWAS, what they are doing to other African countries, he don't want to talk about it. I remember wanting to talk about even Darfur, because there's some malpractices that the UN, AU, they're doing over there in Darfur. And this guy, he doesn't want to talk about it. So to me, I understand the French. The French, it's like a shark. If you jump in the water and you got bitten by a shark, you shouldn't be surprised, because that's what a shark does. So France, obviously, we all know they are there for the resources. That's what they are going to do. But now, when we have people, this is why I don't put the emphasis on when people say, oh, same skin color. Okay, this is beyond skin color. This is from people from the same territory. The same territory, not on the same page. They only care about who is giving them money, who's feeding their pocket. They don't care about the general population. Like these people, they would talk about everything except what is going on. These people, they go to these AU meetings, UN, they meet with the French, the British, whatever, but they never give us the secrets, what is being discussed. Their loyalty lies elsewhere. It's not with the people. So that's why I don't believe that Africa can unite. I don't believe it.
Absolutely. And those people, don't forget, they are well paid.
I know.
What is the best like for an African to turn his back on his people?
Money.
Just feed him well, and put his family in good positions to live a lavish lifestyle, and the deal is done. All these people that you see, let's say in Burkina, Ivory Coast, Senegal, and all these countries, look at all these people in power. Look at their family member. Look at all their family members. They have been put in positions.
Yep.
They get to travel the world. They get to see the world. They get to steal. They get to rob the country. They get to do whatever. While the people are sitting there just watching. And the West is saying nothing.
Yeah.
And when they get rid of the people, they will take them in. They won't take them in their country, but they will ask another country, who is with them to take, like in Burkina, they told Ivory Coast, take over, take care of this dude. Like, I'm trying to make this clear. I'm not against Ivory Coast and Senegal. I'm just talking about the politics that come from these two countries. I love the Senegalese, I love the Ivorians, but the politics that come from this country are very toxic for the rest of the Francophone, region.
I mean, since you guys also share a border with Ghana, I know that Ghana is English speaking. Is Ghana lending any support to Ivory Coast?
The last time I heard of Ghana was when Jerry Rawlings was in power. So
Oh,
they are
wow.
a non-factor. They are a non-factor. They are a non-factor, and I don't want them to do so. Let's be honest. I don't want them to join a battle that which is not theirs. So
Right.
I respect it. We share borders. They have to do their own thing, and we have to do our own thing. But I'm just speaking when it comes to unity. On that, I won't be quiet on that, because I don't see the unity working for us. Because we share border, but we don't share the same problems. If my problem is not your problem, my brother, I thank you, but tomorrow I'm gonna have to do what I got to do.
So do you foresee, in the very near future that, like places like Burkina, because the youths are very much awake. They don't like, France meddling in the business of Burkina Faso. they want to be completely independent. Do you foresee, like in the very near future, that people, their next step would be to fight to rid the country from the CFA, France controlling the money, in that country?
Yes, I mean, this is the next step for us because I believe the conversation already started and the people already stated a position. We don't care about the name of the currency yet, but we want to get out of the situation, which is the CFA. The people already mentioned that we want to leave. It's a long time coming. It's like we're not benefiting from them, from that currency at all. Like you said, I travel through whenever I leave the United States, going back to my country. Basically, I'm going to stop doing that. But I used to lay over in Paris. Nobody used the CFA over there.
Right.
They don't even know of it.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like they don't use it. They don't even know of it.
Right.
So, which is a shame. It's very shameful. So I still don't understand why our people are doing this. I'm not saying the people, the government, like the people in power. I don't understand. It's like, seriously, but
yeah, St. James, man, thanks for coming, man. Great discussion. Thank you for joining me, and
I appreciate it.
putting more reinforcement on the discussion that.
Yeah. I can take on a few questions if you have them. So.
Oh yeah. So as far as this the standoff between the youth right now and this French convoy making its way to Niger, as you heard in the interview, they said even if it takes 30 days, that's what they will do. What is the government's approach, and what is their opinion on what the citizens of the country, what the opinions of the citizens are as far as the French is concerned, and allowing this convoy to get through to Niger? Have you heard anything, or do you have any opinion on it?
Well, from coming from the government, I have not heard anything. But coming from the people, they want to check all this convoy, man. They want to. I don't know how it's going to work, but for me, coming from this country, I'm proud. Let's be honest. I'm not bluffing. Like, I'm proud of these people.
Right. It's something to be proud of, because
It's something to be proud of.
It's really hard to see in African countries, usually in West Africa there, for the citizens to stand up like that. Like, you have to truly push them. But over my research checking, I'm seeing definitely Burkina, the citizens, their thought process and how they want things to be done is not in line with the
Who's that Miko the Great? Do you know him?
Miko is a fan of the show. Miko is
He's a fan of the show, but he said French is not our enemy. I never said they were our enemy.
Yeah.
But in this trying time, you got to know who are your friend, right?
Right.
It's not about pointing the finger at someone saying that you are my enemy.
Right.
No, I'm trying to see who is my friend.
Yeah. Well, Miko, my stance on colonialism. I've talked about the pros and cons, but right now, what France is doing is definitely more of a con. It's because, like, there's no need for them to be doing what they're doing. They want to extract these resources, through military force, by creating chaos. That is completely, wrong. If they want this, everyone can just live in peace and do a fair exchange on these things. But pretending like they own the place, the country belongs to them, now that's a whole different ball game, when in fact the place doesn't belong to them. The people there are speaking. That's why they're letting them know, no, this is our land. You can't just come here and and dictate what happens.
Like you said, right? Let me add to that. Can you accept someone like the French, the Secretary of Defense in French, talking about, oh, we don't want the Malian to bring the Russian? Is that your country?
No.
No. They're free to do whatever they want. I want to bring some Chinese. I want to bring Japanese. I'm free to do so.
Well, Miko is saying they built the country, though.
Which part of the country? Give me the name of the places they built. When it comes to my country, what did they build?
No, Miko, the French, I think with the French territory, the French, I mean, they are very terrible, to be honest. I think they did some buildings in Senegal. Maybe Senegal benefit quite a bit. Maybe that's why they are loyal to them. But no, they don't have. They didn't build those countries. They didn't build them.
I really want them to come and tell me. When it comes to mine, I'm not talking about Nigeria, Chad. I don't live there. I don't know.
Yeah.
I want them to come here. Like, let's have an honest conversation. Exactly what they built. Maybe they did something I don't know. I lived there for years before I got here, so I know what they built.
Yeah, the French. I'm trying to think of French. The French, no, they just steal. I mean, like, it's not even a fair exchange. They steal. Like in all this. Even when France fully colonized these places in the open, they were not using their money to even support these places. They were using those very countries' money. Like, they were using the cocoa exports of Ivory Coast, to even support their other, quote unquote colonies. No. France and Portugal, they are very well known for just, outright stealing from these places.
How can you, we were in the same situation with the Guinea Conakry when the meeting was about to happen. What happened was that they told the French, the African leaders, that they have to come to French so they can have the first meeting before they get to,
Is this you're talking about the military?
No. Back in the 50s.
Yeah, Sekou Touré. Okay.
Yeah. What you gave the example? What did Sekou Touré told them? You know what? You remember that guy, the general? I forgot his name. Oh man,
Is it
the French.
Lassana?
No, the French.
General de Gaulle.
De Gaulle.
Yeah.
What did de Gaulle said? If you want your independence now, or you want to come participate in the meetings, you let us know. What did Sekou Touré say? He was like, I want my independence now.
Right.
I don't have to go through the process. Give it to me now. And you explain it. What did they do to him?
Yeah. well, he wanted. He didn't. This is why when they turned their back on France and they meant it. You see what the French did. Even the railroad, the railways that they built, they scrapped it all. They even, like the toilets and everything, they even damaged things. Yeah. So I don't know, man. The French are definitely no. They haven't built anything.
Right. So that on their way out,
yeah,
they made sure this country is going to be on its knee on their way out.
And the thing is, they continue to benefit from these places, because like Jacques Chirac himself said it. He said, without their African colonies, France would probably be a third world country.
Well said. Which means no one needs to hear from me. No one needs to hear from you. Their own president said it. Maybe I believe two. There was another one who said it too.
Yeah.
We've been taken away from these people for the longest. We've been robbing these people on broad daylight, easily.
Yeah.
Easily. And no one is really resisting, And anyone's coming from this country who want to resist, they will send your own brothers your way. Your own brother's gonna have to do the job.
Yeah,
Same thing with
but St. James, like I don't know if it's a spell, brainwash, or what it is. How did the French, how are they so successful in being able to, even in 2021 today, to be able to have these perfect puppets who
let me
who
tell
look
you,
like us to be able to pull this off, because like in the English speaking, in our Anglophone areas, you see it like for some reason the English speaking West Africans are more rebellious, like we gave the middle finger to the British a long time ago. And every now and again we would get some puppets, but then another one would replace them quick and give them the middle finger. But for some reason France have been, like, the British have failed in being able to maintain like a puppet in the English speaking countries. But for some reason France have succeeded. How are they doing this?
yes, there is a lot. They are able to, to be honest, they are able to maneuver it. Like you said, the Gambia, you have access to the sea in the Gambia.
Right.
Ghana has access to the sea. Nigeria has access to the sea. So most of these
Sierra
countries,
Leone, right.
Sierra Leone, most of these Anglophone countries, they have access to the sea. And basically, most of them control the import and export.
Right.
But when you talk about the Sahel regions, most of these countries are landlocked. So basically, let's say if you are dealing with your neighbor, like let's say in Burkina, right? We have to deal with the Ivorian, the Ghanaians, or the Togolese to get our goods in and out.
Right.
So let's say Burkina is posing a threat to the French. We don't accept them. We don't want them. We don't want the currency. We want to fight. We want to be by ourselves. What they do, they will go to Ivory Coast and they will go to Togo. They will tell these two countries, you know what? Stop doing business with this Burkina. Guess what?
They stop.
And then the economy is going to plummet.
And you know what? Speaking of the sea, that makes sense, because if you look at Guinea-Conakry, a French speaking, they were able to stand up to France, but they also have access to the sea. You're right.
And also we are using the CFA, right? In order for you to get out, it's not easy, right? It was easy for us to get together, but for you to get out, like even let's say Mali today or Nigeria today wants to get out of the CFA. A country like Senegal or Ivory Coast will make sure
they don't,
that you reconsider.
Right.
So it's not, people are saying, oh, you are independent, you can do that on your own. I'm like, oh, no. It was easy for us to get together, but for you to leave these unities, like these unions, I don't see a way out. That's why when the president today, you can't be on your own when you're fighting these people. Like that's why they say we are a French colony. If you understand it, you can leave it at that. We can fight it. You can either fight together or we just don't fight. Because if you want to do it by yourself, you're not going to win.
This is true. And look at somebody, Mamizi said, all African countries are exactly the same. They are controlled 90% by the West. Mamizi, I'll have to disagree with you on that, because you have to look at it. The West do not control all of the African countries' currency like the French control, the French-speaking African countries. They have to print the money for them. You have to look at the English-speaking countries, Gambia, Sierra Leone, Nigeria, Ghana. Like, we print our own money. We have our own central bank. So, like, no, England is not forcing us, to do what they want us to do. But, if you're speaking in terms of how they can put economic stranglehold on African countries, yeah, maybe then I'll agree with you on that part. But as far as it being the same, I think I disagree with that.
It's not the same because even if you look at the president of Cameroon, where Mamazi is from, back in the day when I was in Burkina, they used to call the Mr. French Afrique. The president of Cameroon was part of that. They're the
Yeah.
one who can. They go to the African Union, they participate in the meeting, and they go back to French and tell them these Africans are doing this, they're doing that. So be worried, be aware of that.
Oh yeah.
So
Oh yeah.
this was
What's
Paul
their
Biya,
president?
Paul
Paul
Biya,
Biya.
Houphouët
Paul Biya.
Boigny, and
Omar
Omar Bongo.
Bongo. Mhm.
Those were the three.
Well, St. James, thank you for coming, man. I really enjoyed having you here today, and you've definitely shed light on this very important topic here. Thank you, St. James. Can you hear me? Looks like we lost him there. Ladies and gentlemen, that was St. James giving us a full insight. I mean, if you look at it, right? Seriously, that's why I keep asking these questions about the unity of Africa. Because, yes, I get it. People are going to say there are some who are Western puppets, but it's worst in the French-speaking areas. Because somebody just like Cameroon, for example, Cameroon, they have like that president Paul Biya. He's been there for how long? Paul Biya is a French puppet, 100%. Omar Bongo, these people, they don't care about the citizens. They could care less, and it's not only them, but at least, in the English sections, there's some wiggle room there, because if you control your central bank, at least, you can do certain things. But yeah, Mamizi, I think I agree with you about 90% there. I agree with you about 90%. If you speaking about the mindset, yes, you're absolutely right about that. The mindset has to completely change. But I'm focusing more on how France is so comfortable, how they are so comfortable to even bring in French troops into these countries and even dictating to them who they can or cannot have coming into these countries. So that's a huge problem. With these other countries, that's not how things are happening. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining me, and I hope you guys enjoyed the show, because I definitely did, and learned quite a bit, from research and also from St. James as well. And I will see you guys tomorrow. We will talk about, maybe another topic about, in fact, maybe corruption in Africa, the genesis of it all, because you guys know, I know we like to talk about outside forces, how they underdeveloped Africa, but we have to also talk about the puppets, because the puppets, they look like you and I. You see, they look like you and I. So it's very, we don't suspect them to that level. We just are like, oh, these people are just greedy, but they are serving a bigger purpose for their masters, which would never allow Africa to reach its real potential. So we will talk about that as well. So I'll see you guys tomorrow. Enjoy your Saturday.